Traditional philosophers often started with abstract axioms or theories, but there arose a new set of philosophers who went straight for life as they experienced it moment to moment. They set aside the usual philosophical questions, puzzles about whether things are real or how we can know anything for certain about them. Instead of these, they primarily focus on a new motto of doing philosophy, to the things themselves. But what does that really mean, to the things themselves? It meant they don't waste their time wondering whether things are real. Just look at this presenting video or whatever this may be for you, and describe it as precisely as possible. In this case, they recommend us to disregard intellectual clutter, pay attention to things and let them reveal themselves to you. This was a way of doing philosophy that reconnected it with normal lived experience. So I'm getting a basic motive of the phenomenologists. You are basically saying, focus on the object instead of the thoughts related to that. But how can you do philosophy with making intellectual arguments you ordered, instead to disregard intellectual clutter? Here is an important thing to focus on. There is a difference between intellectual garbage and intellectual first-hand useful information. If you are talking about how the cup of coffee had been made by your mom and how coffee is made through the factory, it is not all going to explain how it actually tastes to me. So for knowing how we experience the coffee, this information is of no use, so should be bracketed out or removed in this context. The removal of useless information to describe the experience is called bracketing out or epoche. So how we get the useful information which actually describes how I experience when I taste the coffee? Instead, this cup of coffee is a rich aroma, at once earthy and perfumed. It is the lazy movement of a curlicue of steam rising from its surface as I lift it to my lips. It is a placidly shifting liquid, and I wait in my hand inside a thin-rimmed cup. It is an approaching warmth, then an intense dark flavor on my tongue. The promise, the anticipated sensations, the smell, the color, and the flavor are all part of the coffee as a phenomenon. They all emerge by being experienced. This is the useful information which actually describes how I felt after drinking the coffee. That's the phenomenology of drinking coffee. The basic slogan of phenomenology is "Describe phenomena." We do talk about music phenomenologically all the time. Phenomenology is useful for talking about religious or mystical experiences. We can describe them as they feel from the inside without having to prove that they really represent the world accurately. For similar reasons, phenomenology helps physicians. It makes it possible to consider medical symptoms as they are experienced by the patient, rather than exclusively as physical processes. It works most effectively on the things we may not usually think of as a material for philosophy: a drink, a melancholy song, a drive, a sunset, an ill-at-ease mood, a box of photographs, a moment of boredom. It restores this personal world in its richness, arranged around our own perspective yet usually no more noticed than the air.